I came on here a little bit earlier. This message is pretty much going to be a short one. This is a message to the caregiver. I have found myself having conversations with a lot of people who are caregiving, particularly for their parents. And it used to be a subject last year mainly that, despite the fact that I had experience doing it, I had a very hard time talking about it. But I guess now I've healed to a point where it's not triggering or traumatizing. It can be a little bit at times depending on, what they're talking to me about, but generally, like, it's something that I feel so much compassion and empathy for people who come to me with those things. And I had someone come to me with that last week, and I had somebody come to me with that today. Hi, Charicity. And there was a specific thing that I wanted to say to anyone who might be in a place of caregiving. It doesn't have to be for a parent. It could be for anyone. It could be for grandparent. It could be for a spouse. It could be for a child. When I say caregiving, I mean caregiving for someone who has a terminal type illness. That's what I mean specifically when I say caregiving. Or even if it's not a terminal illness, it could be just a chronic illness that the person is not going to get better from. It's just like something that they deal with for their whole life, and they have to be taken care of by somebody for their whole life. Uncle, this is what I wanted to say that I wish that somebody had told me. It's a very normal thing to feel like that person is a burden to you. Because I remember when I was caregiving for my dad, so many people used to say, "Oh, it's such a blessing. It's such a blessing that you're able to be there with him for these moments and take care of him and all of that." And it's like two things can be true at the same time. It was a blessing for me because those couple of years, 3 years, whatever it was, despite the fact that he was so ill, was possibly the most time accumulative that I spent with him my whole life. It was the nicest and most complimentary time that he ever was to me. So it was a blessing in that sense. In another sense, my time was occupied by primarily by whatever was going on with him. If he wasn't well for the day, um, now my day consisted of just trying to figure out what's wrong with him, taking him to the hospital, um, you know, trying to figure out what's wrong, trying to figure out why he's not eating, um, if he has a fever. It was just a lot. It was just a lot to it. When it came to me living my life, I knew that I was just a phone call away from having to go back home. I couldn't travel. There was a lot of things that I couldn't do. So I used to feel bad for feeling like I wish I had this burden lifted from me to where maybe he was with somebody else, or he was living with somebody else, or there was somebody else that was taking care of him, and I could just check in and visit sometimes and make or a call and be like, hey, is he okay, type of thing. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, it's not a selfish feeling when you are primarily taking care of somebody in that kind of condition to feel like both a burden and a blessing at the same time, because it is both. It is both. You have to change and alter your life. Your life now revolves around that person's well-being, because now they're not in a position where they can take care of themselves. Hi, YVL. Right now was my dad, now my uncle. Sorry about that, Charicity. You're always on call. Like I was just telling somebody. I remember how my gym schedule was affected, and it might not sound like a big deal. Like, what is the gym? Well, the gym was like my safe space. The gym was like the place where I go when I can just throw on my music and I can just lift some weights, do whatever I'm doing in there. And I remember this one time, me and my mom basically worked in shifts because my mom worked. My mom was still working at that time. So she was working, I think her shift was like 7 to 7. So she would leave the house maybe about 5 o'clock in the morning because she would take the bus and the train to get to work. And then she would get back to the house about 8:30. So I was with him. I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because he couldn't be alone. So I'm up at 5 o'clock a.m. when she leaves, and my duties are not relieved until like 8:30 p.m. So I remember this one day I was just waiting and waiting and waiting for her to get home. She got home really late. She got home like 9:30, 9:45 because she was a nurse, and a nurse's work is pretty much never done. So, it wasn't her fault, but she got home late. My gym closes at 11. So I got home. When she got home, I was like, great. As soon as she got home, I was like, I'm leaving. I have to go to the gym. I was like 5 minutes away from the gym. My phone rings. My mom is calling me. I know there's no way that my mom is calling me already unless something happened. She was like, I was trying to take him to the bathroom and now he's on the floor. So the only way that he was ever going to get up off the floor is if I was over there lifting him off the floor, because my mom was not capable of lifting him off the floor. Option B was call the ambulance to lift him off the floor. And we had called the ambulance so many times at that point. Those bills that had racked up from ambulance calls for that type of thing, insane. And I was like, at first I started arguing with my mom. I'm like, I was with dad all day. I left you with him for 10 minutes and he's on the floor and you're asking me to come help get him up. But I turned around. I came home, picked him up. I felt resentful. I felt feelings of resentment. And I used to feel like I was wrong for that because I'm like, it's not my mom's fault that he fell on the floor. It's not his fault that he has Alzheimer's and dementia. But it's a complicated set of emotions that goes through a person that is dealing with that sick, helpless person. Because a part of you, especially if you're like a natural caregiver type of person like me, which I found out that I was, you feel sorry for them, you feel bad for them, and you feel like it's kind of your duty to help them, protect them, make sure that they're safe, all that kind of stuff. But then you also have those moments where you're just like, this is a lot for me. So if that's you, give yourself grace, and also try to find ways to get some reprieve from the duties. I'm not saying that you're going to have a whole day or a week away or a month where you're going to be able to just travel somewhere and just be away from them. But I just mean like find pockets of things, of time to do things that are for you and to do things that keep you sane mentally, emotionally, because taking care of a person with those kind of problems is a full-time job, and it can strain you and stress you and break you down. And then, what help are you going to be to that person? So be easy on yourself and allow room for a lot of emotions that comes with it. Yeah, the outlet is a huge deal. Joao. Hi, Joao. You city or speed? I don't know what that means. Good night. Okay. Call 911. You don't get free service if they just come and. No way. Not over here. It's not as big as an ambulance bill, but when the EMTs come, yeah, they definitely build for that. Yeah, I mean it's okay. It was a rough time. It was a rough time. I think it was about 2019, November 2019. He had his first stroke, and he passed in April of 2023. So it's like a 3 year and some change span of time. But like I said, so many people since then have come to me and talked to me about their parents or loved one who they're going through similar with now, and it makes me feel like there was some kind of purpose, because there's only if they take you. That's how it should be. And the fees for when they take you is ridiculous to me. If you know anyone who you think needs to hear this, please share this message. And if this person is you, drop a comment and let me know. And I'm sorry for anyone who has to be in that position. It's one of the toughest things ever, especially when, someone that you're used to being tough and strong is now in a space of being helpless, and you're the person that they are primarily leaning on. It's a hard place to be. I get it. And as always, thanks for your support. And please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you all, and have a good evening.